Hey everyone, Dave here from Peace Camera. In this week's video, we are going to do a preview of the new Nikon D850. Now, a while back on their Nikon's 100th anniversary, they announced the D850. They really didn't give us any specs or anything, really just a couple small little teasers and no release date. But last week, Nikon finally released all the specs. So now I'm going to do this video to go over them with you to see if this is a camera that you are going to want to buy. So let's start off with the main thing. This camera features a 45.7 backside illuminated full frame CMOS sensor. So this raw files are going to be huge. I used to shoot with the D810 and the raw files were 70 megs. So I'm going to figure these to be around 80 or 90 megabyte size raw files. Now, there are three different sizes of RAW that you can shoot in: RAW small, RAW medium, and RAW large. So if you're trying to save a little space, you can shoot one of those compressed RAW files. ISO range is from 64 to 25,600, which is basically double of what the D810 was, which was 12,800. You'll shoot 7 frames per second continuous, or you can shoot 9 frames per second with the optional battery pack, but there is one caveat with that. If you want to get the 9 frames a second, you need to use the battery from the Nikon D5 in that battery pack. So if you don't already own a Nikon D5, you're going to have to buy a D5 battery and a D5 battery charger, plus the price of the grip for the D850, and that's going to run you at almost $1,000 to get all those. So is that going to be worth it for 2 more frames a second? I don't know. For some people, it just might be. It does have a 51 frame raw buffer, so that means you can shoot 51 frames continuous before the buffer will fill up. It does have 153 focusing points, with 99 of them being cross type. The rear screen is going to be a 3.2-inch tiltable full touch screen, so that means that you'll be able to go through your menu options, go through your pictures, focusing, all with touch instead of using all the D-pad buttons. Now, you can turn this off in the menu options if you'd like to. For me, when I shoot, my nose will usually hit something that will change the focus point. So for live shooting, I probably would not use that. I would use it for shooting video if I wanted to do touch to focus, but if I'm going to be shooting regular stills, I would want to turn that off, as I'm a left-eyed shooter, so if I hold the camera up to my left eye, my nose is normally going to be touching the rear screen. It will do 6 frames per second in silent shooting, so if you need to be in a situation where you can't hear the camera clicking, like when you're, say, a wedding photographer and during the ceremony you don't want to hear the clap of the shutter, you can do 6 frames a second, but you won't be able to use the optical viewfinder. You'll have to use live view, so just be aware of that. It features one XQD and one UHS-II SD card slot, which I think is a big deal. With the size of these files and writing, you want the faster card speed, so having a UHS-II SD card and the XQD, which will write at much faster speeds, is very good. Just be in mind, if you don't have an XQD reader, you'll have to purchase one, and the price of the XQD cards are about twice the price of the SD cards, but it will be good, especially if you're shooting video. It does have, all the buttons are backside illuminated, so if you're shooting in the dark and can't remember all the buttons are in the dark, you will be able to use this feature, and I think that is a great option as well. It has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Another really neat option this camera has is focus stacking up to 300 shots. So if you're a macro photographer and you're up really close and you know how, and you're shooting wide open, you know the depth of field is very narrow, this will do up to 300 shots of focus stacking. It will move the focus point at very small increments all the way to infinity to get the shots you want, and then bake it in as one file. So it's a pretty neat option to have, especially if you're a macro photographer. Now let's talk about video. This will do 4K full frame video. Now, you know, some of the other cameras, when you shoot in 4K, it shoots cropped in, so it doesn't use the full sensor. This will use the full 4K sensor in this camera, up to 24 and 30 frames per second in 4K, which is 422 8-bit, which is pretty darn good, and will save as an H.264 file. It will do slow motion video at 120 frames per second in 1080. Again, you can set this, shoot it, and then it's going to process and bake it in as a file, so you won't have to do anything in post. You'll have your 120 frame second file there. Now let's get on to the price. The price is $3,299.95, which was lower than I expecting. I was expecting this camera to be almost around $4,000, and I was really surprised when they said the price was only going to be $3,299. So I'm calling this camera the Baby D5 because this has a lot of options that the D5 has in it, in a half the price camera, saving at basically over $3,000 compared to the cost of the D5. Now we are taking pre-orders for this camera. If you would like to get on that pre-order list, give us a call at the store. But from what I heard from Nikon, that they've already sold out of all the bodies that they already have made. So when we are going to get our order in, I'm not sure, but the release date is mid-September, so we're going to wait. And as soon as I get this camera in, I will of course do a full unboxing video for you guys. So if you'd like to come visit us, please do. We are located at 5039 Falls of Neuse Rd in the Quail Corner Shopping Center, Falls of Neuse in Millbrook, or you can give us a call here at the store, 919-836-2222. So that's going to wrap it up for this week's video. If you do like this video, please do hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel if you aren't already, as I put out new videos every single Friday. And leave a comment down below. Is this a camera that's interested you? Do you think you're going to want to buy this camera? I think this is going to be one of Nikon's most popular cameras out there when it does finally get released. And only time will tell if that's going to turn out true. So that's going to do it for this week's video, and I'll see you all next week.